the first questions I'll ask you probably are like, not probably, the first questions I'll ask you are like to spell your name first and last, how you want to see it in print, and then give me your rank and who you're with, your company. So why don't you go ahead and do that now?
All right. My name's Sean Thompson, SHAUNTHOMPSON.
Okay. Middle initial?
What's that?
Middle initial?
A.
Okay.
I'm with Charlie Battery, 2nd of the 123rd Field Artillery out of Galesburg. And what was the other?
No, you're good.
Okay.
So when I ask you these questions, it's just having a conversation with me. If you mess up, feel free to shake it off, start over. It's all good, okay?
Okay.
All right. So why don't you just...
I don't know if this is like a little standoffish. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
What's that?
That's probably better. Just the
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us what you're doing out here today?
Okay. So me and I've got 2 teams of guys out here. We've been basically trying to reinforce this levee, get the plastic sealed down. There's places where it's seeping over where the levee's a little lower than the rest of it. And we're just trying to seal that off, stop a little bit of that leakage, just to keep any extra water from coming across that we can.
Okay. Okay. And how long have you guys been out here?
This is day 6 that we've been out here on this stretch of levee. We got out here, what, Sunday, I believe, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And could you maybe tell me, are your guys mostly from the Galesburg area, or do you guys have guys down this way too?
So one of the teams that I've got up here on this levee with me is out of Galesburg.
Okay.
Now their home records are kind of all over the state. We got some from up north around Chicago and then some from the Galesburg area. I'm personally from La Harpe. Then the other team we have out here, they're out of Charlie Battery, out of Springfield, 2nd of the 123rd, and they're kind of more from the Springfield area. So.
Yeah. Now we've talked to a couple townspeople that are really, really glad to see the National Guard's presence out here. What does it mean to you to be able to come out here and help these folks out?
It's awesome. You know, we were told that they were probably going to lose this levee to begin with, and then for us to be able to come out here and put all this hard work into it and save it, basically, as long as the water doesn't continue to rise, we've got a really good handle on it, and it looks like we're going to be successful in our mission of saving this levee for these farmers and other local people in the area.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Do you have anything you want to ask, Demi?
You have a family back home then?
I do. I have a wife, Leslie. We've been married, it'll be 11 years here in about a week. And then I have a little 6-year-old daughter who just finished up preschool, so.
Very cool. Anything you would like to add at all about your guys, about the levee, about the mission?
All I can really say is these guys have been working really hard. We've been throwing sandbags from sun up till sundown just about every day. I can't even imagine how many bags or how many tons of sand these soldiers have physically picked up and thrown down to help keep the water from coming over this levee. And they've all worked extremely hard. We've had our ups and our downs, but we've fought through it and kept morale up and just really had a good, as best a time as we can doing it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Sarge.
Can I ask like a couple questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So, Sergeant,
when
That way, when he's talking to you, it'll.
got you. So, Sergeant, could you tell us like where you were and what were you doing when you found out you were going to have to come here and help with some flood duty?
Most of us were getting ready to go to AT. We had an annual training coming up. It's supposed to start June 1st through June 15th. So a lot of guys were kind of prepared to be going somewhere. And then kind of out of the blue, they called us up on a Wednesday night, I believe, and said, hey, pack bags and we're going to go sandbag down south of Quincy. So here we are.
Now, can you speak to that in general real quick? As a guardsman, we're all guardsmen here and we kind of know what it is. But if you're talking about like, you know, one of the things we do that maybe the reserve don't do, the active component don't do, are respond to natural disasters like this on a whim. Sometimes it's in the middle of the winter during a blizzard. Sometimes it's during the spring. You know, you have family has stuff going on. Could you just speak to that for a minute? Like, does that ever come up in your line of thought? Are you ready to go? Like, what runs through your mind when you get those kind of calls?
Gosh, that's a tough one. So I'm fortunate enough that I don't have a problem. There's no kind of a hardship for me or anything if I get called up and I have to go right away. So I'm pretty flexible. I've been doing this for 18 years now, so I'm used to all of it. And my wife is very flexible and easygoing with it and understands. You know, some of the other soldiers, they've got things going on and it ends up being a little more of a strain to them, but yet they still show up, they still work hard, they still get the job done. You know, they do what they need to do, so.
Awesome, Sergeant. Yeah, that's it, man. Good. First off, what's your name and rank?
My rank is Specialist, and my name is Ben Nelson, BENNELSON.
Okay. Middle initial?
A.
A. Okay. All right. So when we have this conversation, that's just what it is, okay? It's just you and me talking. Not a big deal. If you trip up or you feel like you did, take a breath, start over, whatever you need to do, okay?
Okay.
And so she's going to,
Yeah, sorry.
there'll probably be multiple people talking to you.
Okay.
Just try to maintain eye contact,
Gotcha.
like up here with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, go ahead, David.
So basically, I just want to know what you guys are doing out here.
So over the past couple of days, we've been out here reinforcing these levees, laying plastic, laying sandbags down. We spent some time in Quincy filling sandbags where they've been loading them up and everything in the back of the trucks to bring them out here and everything. We spent some time doing some kind of recon stuff at some other levees earlier when we first got here. Just looking for, you know, boils and any leaks and just low areas and any place that needed attention.
So how long have you guys been out here?
So we've been out here since the 30th, which I believe was a Thursday, so May 30th. And so we've been out here since then.
So are you guys displaced then at night? Like, are you from here? But, like, where do you live?
Oh, okay. So I live in Springfield, Illinois.
Okay,
Is where
so you
I'm
go
from.
home every night or no?
No, we do not. We stay in Quincy at the Quincy University. They were nice enough to let us have some dorm rooms there to stay in and everything. So that's been wonderful.
And you had to leave your job and your family to come?
Yes, I have.
So you look pretty dirty. How is that? Can you tell me about that? Like, does it get pretty dirty out here?
It definitely gets pretty muddy and dirty and wet. There's not really a time where you don't have some mud, water, something on you.
Yeah, pretty backbreaking work then, I guess.
Very much so.
Yeah. Well, these folks are glad to see you out here, and we kind of asked Sergeant earlier. Can you kind of speak to what that's like for you to give back to the, you know, come out here when community calls and kind of.
So yeah, it's really nice to be able to actually come out and help people and you know, make a difference, because you know, when it comes to things like this, they have you know, maybe family and some friends to rely on. So it's nice to actually come out here and be able to lend a hand and, you know, kind of bring their hopes up in terms of, you know, saving, whether it be fields, houses, homes, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's nice to actually be able to give back. You know, I don't think a lot of people quite realize, you know, what we do. You know, they see us drive by in a convoy maybe, and they're like, okay, hey, military, you know. But it's nice to actually be out here and show them, you know, what we're capable of and what we can do.
Awesome. Sure.
That was gold.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you'd like to add about anything? The mission, your guys, teammates, whatever. Anything.
I'm tired.
Okay. Good enough, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Really, I'm just out here checking on the soldiers, making sure that they're safe, they're being fed, you know, they're taken care of, bug bites, sunburn, all that good stuff, just making sure the morale and welfare of the soldiers are still going strong.
Okay, how are we doing on that, and what can you tell me about, have you talked to any of the troops? Do you know what they're coming from in their lives to rush down and do this?
Yes, so our soldiers are, this is honestly like one of the things that the National Guard soldier signs up for that's, I mean, unique to the National Guard soldier. And so many of them, as the General and I, we've been on flood duty before. We've reacted to Hurricane Katrina, we've reacted to floods, we've reacted to winter storms and things like that. So getting out in the community and just being part of that community because we were raised or born or have family in that community, our soldiers react to that always very well, and they're always anxious and very motivated to go help in that community. So morale is high.
I think one of the things that's key to understand is that, you know, our guardsmen live in these communities, they work in these communities. They're not full-time active duty members, so they have to leave their employers, they leave their homes to come and support communities around the state. And that's the great thing about being in the National Guard is we not only are able to deploy to fight our nation's wars and to defend our country, but we're also here for our neighbors and our state to protect and defend when things of this nature, whether it's a flood or whether it's a blizzard or some other type of situation that the state needs help with, we're able to take those skills that we have and apply them in the local communities to support our neighbors. The challenge is we're always taken away from the families, we're taken away from the employers, and so it's a balancing act that we have to use to make sure that we're supporting our communities, but we also know that these same airmen and soldiers have deployed multiple times and have training events and deployments around the world that we're asking them to do. So it's a balancing act of how often we can pull them out, and but when our communities call, we're here to stand behind them.
Wonderful, thank you, sir. Sir?
Got it all.
All right. Is there anything else either of you would like to add? Any sort of a bottom line for either one of you that hasn't already been addressed?
Well, I'll do a bottom line real quick here.
Yes, sir.
This is it's important for our guardsmen to understand that we have two missions here, and one is to deploy, the other is really to support our neighbors. And we just thank our communities that support us when we leave, our families that support us when we leave, our families at home, as well as the employers that constantly support our guardsmen when we're asking them whether to deploy around the world or deploy into Southern Illinois to help with a flood of this nature.
Sir, thank you so much for
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
Good job, guys.
Thanks, Major. Thanks, Major.
Yeah, no problem.
Back here.